Hello, it's the Moldy Muffin, and welcome to Fallout 4. Today, we are going to go over Fallout factions. And the 4 lineup is the Brotherhood of Steel, the Minutemen, and the Railroad and the Institute. Now, to the fun part. How Bethesda, or Bethesda, however you want to call it, how they implement modern day politics into their game. Fallout 4 is notorious for this, especially with the factions. And today, I will cover what the factions and their political meanings are for into our modern politics of our country today. So sit back, grab a Coke, and enjoy the video. So first up on the runner's list, we have the Brotherhood of Steel. Now the Brotherhood of Steel, I know multiple people have butchered this one, calling them evil, and others calling them good. But we can't just do that. No. Today, I'm going to go over the facts and what their political standings are for in the game and why they are the way they are. Now today, I'm also playing as my Brotherhood of Steel Paladin. I have not beat the game on this character. I have mods installed and I'm not sure which one's conflicting with the story at the moment. So I'm going to be doing that later, figuring it out. Now, off to the why the Brotherhood of Steel and their political meanings. Now, in the beginning of the game, you get a real early taste of Brotherhood bravado. You know, we're not going to tell you unless you tell us type deal from Paladin Danse. Paladin Danse is one of the more loved characters in the game. Now, however, the politics are behind it are much more different. In the game, you're just introduced to this institute. Now, you don't know what the institute stands for, really. But I will be going over that real soon and what they actually represent in our politics today. There are 2 evil factions in this game, and there are one faction that rebuilds the Commonwealth in this game, and the other one that preserves it. If you can guess what one will preserve it, then you are very good at guessing, I guess. I don't really know what to say other than that. Today, though, the Brotherhood of Steel. The Brotherhood of Steel's main values go to the beginning. When technology goes too far, who is preventing the issues from coming? Right? Well, let me get that straight. The Brotherhood of Steel's values are from basically the beginning. However, the East Coast has branched off. But they also have Elder Matson. And Elder Matson gives you the bravado in the very beginning that all synths are evil. Now, what does this represent in modern day politics? I'm getting shot at. And I have no idea from where. The Brotherhood of Steel in modern day politics will directly just represent the military might of the United States alone. They are vast. They have the best technology in the entire Commonwealth, and their standing is usually good with most of the Commonwealth's folks, right? So, the Brotherhood of Steel, when their political values are at heart, they would represent the Republicans or the extreme conservatives within our politics of today. And the reason I say this, our politics are cut down the middle between Democrats and conservatives, the Republicans. The Brotherhood of Steel in this game is a direct representation of the Republicans. They are preserving, they are not changing, they do not really want to build, nor do we want more change. We want to preserve. I always will side with the Brotherhood of Steel or the Minutemen, and there's a reason for this. And that goes to the political values that I hold dear. And others will be different, but that is expected. The political values of this and how Bethesda has implemented it into the game, especially with the Brotherhood of Steel, they hold it to where they do not uplift the Commonwealth, nor do they really take. Now, yes, you can have the option with Proctor Tegan on raiding farms. Now, when you raid a farm, you have several ways of doing it. You can be nice, you can be mean, or you can just shoot them all. That kind of goes under mean, but, I mean, that's really just murder at that point, but don't even know how you can categorize it any other way. But the Brotherhood of Steel has values that most, even today, most people won't agree with. And the reason I say this, in the game, synths are basically aliens to the people. Or intruders, right? Well, in the real world, our intruders are those of illegal immigrants, and those that wish to do us harm. In this game, synths are doing harm. They are not uplifting society entirely. Now, Valentine is a different story, but that's just Valentine, over thousands of them that were produced by the Institute. Now, the climate in which this game is set in is, of course, a nuclear apocalypse. So there really isn't truly any clear, like, ways of going about things. Of course, they all gotta be glowing ones, too. Sorry, these things annoy me. The Brotherhood of Steel, if you take out Aldo Matson, I feel as if they will lose a major part of their identity. Now, I know there's people out there that are saying, well, it's Aldo Matson and his thinking. In a way, it is. Aldo Matson in this game is very off-putting. He's 100%, you're gonna do it my way or it's the highway. Well, in this world, it can be that way in the Fallout universe. And there's a reason why. If everything is blown up, then there's no reason. So, I always side, whether or not I agree with Elder Matson entirely, which I don't, but I do side with the Brotherhood of Steel because, in reality, the Brotherhood of Steel are the best faction in the game to side with, militarily wise, and for the Commonwealth. They do the most damage to the Institute, and they are the best support units to have in the Institute when you're facing all those murderous Institute thugs. Trust me. I'd rather have men in suits of power armor than people running around with little pipe guns like the Minutemen. I've done those playthroughs, so I know how it ends. The only one I've never done was Railroad. I can't come to myself to do that one. But that will lead into now the railroad and their political views and their political standing into this world and into the Fallout universe. And the railroad is a serious topic. Even today in this game, it is like the Brotherhood, the most debated upon on which whether they are good or whether or not they are bad. And here is where I will say it. The railroad, in as many ways as they try to do good, they are a bad and evil faction to play with. And here is why. The railroad saves and wipes the minds of synths that escape from the Institute. And these synths maybe do some good, don't know where they go, are always jumpy when this happens, or they can turn into raiders like Gabriel and cause mass damage in which the Institute actually had to go clean up. Now, that was the Institute. Now, the Institute's evil in their own right, but we are not getting into that just yet. The railroad, since they mind wipe synths, now it is an option for the synth to go through the mind wipe. But it also does great harm to the synth, as Nick Valentine's brother explains that a synth has its identity stripped away from them. And so thus, the railroad is not helping synths, really. They're just helping them escape from the evil grasp of the Institute in some way, but in their own twisted fashion. And now let's not forget, though, the synths in this game are property of the Institute, whether or not many would debate that. Now in the real world, like I said, the synths represent illegal immigrants coming into a place. And it is causing a destabilization of that area and that society. Well, many can argue, well, the Brotherhood of Steel in this game is causing a destabilization of the society in which they are in. Yes and no. It depends on whether or not you do the exact quest from Proctor Tegan. If you do not do that quest from Proctor Tegan, really, then the Brotherhood is helping society because it is destroying synths. And the synths in the game are not exactly your best things in the world either, because they are destabilizing society. And they got that reason. There's a reason why everybody in the game is so afraid of them. Well, the railroad has taken upon itself to free them, to add more to the population, and create destabilization within the society in which they live. Now, I know the railroad is a direct representation of the railroad used during the Civil War, where they helped slaves from the South escape the South into Canada. Now, that is very good. That is a noble deed, and it is well rewarded. But however, I find it very twisted in a way that Bethesda has taken the railroad from historical ways and implementing it into this game to cause great harm to the society in which they are. The railroad in itself, as today, will represent the liberals. But not all liberals. Let me make that clear. Like the Brotherhood does not represent all Republicans. The railroad does not represent all Democrats. They have very liberal views, right? And that does not represent all people. Remember that. You cannot blame someone for someone else's deeds. Actually, never noticed that skeleton there. Just one of those random tidbits I kind of like to work. Anyway, So whatever you do, do not go hating on one person for their political beliefs. Now, the railroad in this game, with the sense, causing destabilization in the society in which they live, causing rape, murder, and mayhem because they turn into raiders, or do other stupid things. Well, the political environment in which the railroad is placed into does not help it at all. Now, I have a feeling that Bethesda intentionally did this to see whether or not people could pick up on it. It's not that Bethesda is choosing a party or a witch. No, they do this with all their games. Some of them are a lot harder than others to do. For example, Wolfenstein is a very, very interesting one because it shows what hatred and racism can lead to. History has already proven this throughout World War II, when we fought against the greatest evil the world has ever known. We should never let this rise and happen again. But Bethesda takes it upon themselves of showing you what can happen if you do forget. Well, this railroad has a tendency of saving a synth in which that synth goes and causes destruction to the society in which they are. And this is bad. In Fallout, you come and open up to a broken world. A very broken world. Everything was destroyed by a bomb. A big bomb, basically. A nuclear bomb. Atomic, whatever you want to call it. Bomb. You are awakened. You meet the Minutemen, the Preston Garvey. I thought that was a rock. Literally. So you help Preston Garvey. You rebuild the Minutemen. And you start to rebuild the society in which you are in. However, if you side with the Brotherhood of Steel and still play with the Minutemen, you are not helping society with the Brotherhood of Steel entirely. You're preserving it, you're not hurting it. If you choose not to do the faction where you raid farms. However, if you do the Minutemen, you're constantly building the Brotherhood of Steel up continuously, up and up and up. Up to the point where the Minutemen are a very big force to be reckoned with in the game. Very righteously so. The railroad hurts the society in which they are in because of them helping the aliens in this game. The aliens are the ones that are causing mass destruction within the game. Even when they're under the Institute's thumb, they are causing mass chaos. And that leads us into the next portion, the Institute. The Institute is the most advanced and most technological society we have ever come across in Fallout. Hands down. They can make robots look like humans and think like humans. They can do just about whatever they want. They have teleportation, they have grown trees, and it's one of the nicest factions you can side with, but they are extremely evil. So much so that I never liked siding with them. Now don't get me wrong, I will side with the Institute rather than siding with the Railroad. But I do not like siding with the Institute one bit. And here's why. The Institute causes mass great harm to the society that they are in. They are not rebuilding it. They are not preserving it. they are causing more damage than even the railroad can. The railroad causes mass, but if we can compare that up to what the Institute is doing, the Institute is completely destroying. It is not in any way helping society. It is annihilating it. I knew that was going to happen. Oh, great. Run away. Run away. What have I learned from this? Just run away. Get a lot of fucking... Anyway. The Institute, in very twisted ways, rebuild man by a robot and then replaced the man or woman in the game with a robot. They are not rebuilding, they are destroying. They are trying to make society their own in some twisted way. Remember what Father says. He says, mankind redefined. And mankind redefined in this game means they are completely taking innocent people in the game and killing them. Now, what can this represent in the real world? Well, it's very hard to place the Institute in the real world, but there are some very close figures. We can compare it to North Korea. They are doing great harm. But we can also call them the government. Very secretive in what they do. They have very many secrets away from even their own people. It's very hard to place where the Institute stands, because even most governments can't get away with something like this on a grand scale. Even in World War II, with Adolf Hitler's regime, he could not get away with what the Institute is completely doing. Yes, they did very great harm to many innocent people, and thus they should have paid far worse than the price that a lot of them deserved. If they could have ever found all those responsible for the tragedy that happened to all those innocent people, I do believe they should have gotten much worse than just a quick death. But that's just my thought under that, my belief. Now, the Institute, like I was saying, though, it's very hard. The closest I could think would be Adolf Hitler's regime in World War II. That is the very close runner-up I can think of. Adolf Hitler's regime killed millions of innocent people. The Institute, we do not know the exact numbers, but we know they have been doing it for a long time with the FEV, with the Simps, and very many other various programs I can't think of top of my head. So they are doing great harm to society in which they are. Not rebuilding, not preserving, destroying. And they are doing it bad. The Institute is probably the worst society, worst faction in the game to side with. Now, they may have the best equipment, may have the prettiest equipment, and by golly, they might be the smartest of them all. What is that? No. But give me a minute. The Institute in which they are in have done very great harm to society. And in the game, you have left with a choice. Whether to destroy the Institute entirely or keep it. And that is one of the harder choices to make. And the reason why is because, one, in the game, your son is the director of the Institute. Now, for most people, family is very important. And in the game, it's still kind of a hard choice. You don't want to really kill him. But you should. And here's why. Because the man is very evil. He has done very great harm to society in which he is in. And that society is suffering greatly. So is it merciful to actually rid the world of such evil? That is the hardest question. And the Institute is the hardest one to place politically because they really are a faction of pure evil. They do not have any mercy. They are a faction that will completely destroy a place so they could build what they want. And thus they try it with the Minutemen. They attack the Minutemen. If you side with the Brotherhood or the Minutemen or the Railroad, they attack the Minutemen, irregardless of what you do. The only way to prevent them from hurting society is by joining them and taking over the directorate. Now, there's no real indication that you can do this, but I like to believe that the character has some moral values and will not destroy or hurt the society in which he is and will give back. But it's still a very hard faction to play for. And this will roll us into the Minutemen. The Minutemen are the Commonwealth's greatest ally. And the reason I say this, they do not preserve, they do not destroy the Commonwealth, they rebuild it. They are the best faction to play with if you want to build the Commonwealth up, to expand, to protect. And they are the best faction. They are well-rounded. They have military values like the Brotherhood of Steel. However, they do not hate all synths in the game, which is good, because not all synths, like Valentine, for example, are bad. Not all of them are bad. And that is where the Brotherhood's flaw is. Dance was a synth, and however, he was rejected because of that reason. However, he was a model soldier. And this does get us into the political environment of real world. I will top that in the end of this video of why each faction is the way it is and why it all represents in the way it does. The Minutemen represent, if you put it in a political party, the independent party of the United States government system. They represent the Democrats and they represent the Republicans, which would be the Brotherhood and the Railroad. They do not cause harm to the society which they are. They are helping people get jobs, they are feeding people, they are giving them water, clothing, stores, they are rebuilding, they are giving them homes, beds. Now, of course, you have to build up all this unless you have a mod that can do it for you. But the Minutemen are one of the greatest factions to play for. I have a tendency in all my games to build lavish buildings for the Minutemen. They all started out originally like these things. Well, eventually I got to the point where I got tired of running to each settlement to defend it. So I built forts, and I put people in the forts. And the forts in which they are all in are very protective. They can survive a very long time. And the Minutemen are very great at what they are. They rebuild the society. They help synths, but they do destroy synths, like the Brotherhood. They will destroy them. And under me, I destroy them, but I don't destroy all that many. I just have a tendency of destroying some. Now this is a place that I will be showing off in a later video. I will apologize ahead of time. The amount of lag my FPS will tank. I have been working on this place. I will give you a sneak peek. I'm not going to even bother going in at the moment because this is going to cause massive lag. I have to get a few things to see if I can fix it at the moment. But again, the Minutemen are probably the best. Never mind. I'm stuck inside of it. But the Minutemen are the greatest faction to play for in this game. Hands down. Shit. Nope. Oh. Now, the Minutemen, back to what I was saying. This will lead us into the ending portion of this video. With every other faction, each has their own flaws and great abilities. If you are looking to have a simple and easy, and I mean simply just easy, time in the end of this game, fought the Brotherhood. They're the easiest to play as. However, if you want more of a standard, well-rounded play, then we move on into the Minutemen. Apologize for the yawn. But what you're all wondering, why does this all tie into the end? Well, like I said in the beginning, there are two factions that cause great harm, and there are two factions that help, that do not cause harm. But one only preserves and the other rebuilds. And the factions that rebuild is the Minutemen. The faction that preserves is the Brotherhood. The factions that destroy and manipulate the Commonwealth is the Railroad and the Institute. Hands down, the Institute. I know many people who watch this video will say that the Brotherhood causes harm. In a way, they do. But the Railroad causes the most harm because they're throwing basically aliens into a culture, into a world that does not need them. The Institute is trying to replace man, or this common man, with a better man, or a cheaper version of that man. And this plays into the real world politics. In the United States, we are currently letting in too many people. At once, quite literally. And very many of them are also coming into the United States illegally and taking jobs away from Americans that do work hard, who have families, who have children, who need to pay for bills, who have to do these things, and they are causing great harm to the society which they are in, because the people that have these families are suffering and cannot, and then just go into debt. And it does not help society at all. It destroys the society. I apologize if you were one of those people that came here illegally, but I have to say that many Americans in this country right now are very unhappy with the way this has been handled. No one, and I will say this, no one is unwelcome in this country. No one. Everybody is welcome. No matter where you are from, you are always welcome in the United States. As long as you have the intention of not hurting society, but helping or building upon the society in which you are in. But that is it. If you hurt the society in which you are, then you are called a criminal. Simple as that. the political environment of this game is very uneasy in the game. The reason I say that is because you're thrown into the world that's broken, and you have 4 factions to choose between, which you think and which will play into your political beliefs and systems. For me, it's the Minutemen and the Brotherhood. For others, it will be the Railroad and the Minutemen. For others, it will be simply the Institute, which is actually very concerning. But for others, it's just the Brotherhood, and then others Minutemen, and others just the Railroad. I myself, as a person, cannot come to side with the Railroad. I have tried, and I just can't do it. Myself, it makes me very uneasy as a person knowing I am causing harm. I don't even like doing it with the Institute, and the Institute is slightly better than the Railroad in some aspects, aside from the sense. The only thing that the Institute can claim to be better than the Railroad is the biohydroponics system that they have. Not where they're turning people into super mutants, no. It's where they are creating plants to feed people. That is about the only thing I can think of that's helpful. But that's about it. The Railroad does not have it. It causes great harm. The Brotherhood, like I say, preserves, but it can do harm. And there is no doubt. You can go around to farms and take them over, either by force or by peaceful means. The decision will always be up to you inevitably, as the player. For me, it will always be the Minutemen or the Brotherhood, but really the Minutemen. Because they are always building society, they are always accepting new people who can rebuild society with them, who can build it up, to make it strong, to keep the values of what... Where is he? Where is he? What? Ah, there he is. Got him. The Minutemen are the greatest faction because they accept new people. They are always willing to have them help. They have plenty of jobs for people. They rebuild it. They build it up strong. And they do great things. They also are like the United States. If you attack us, we will defend ourselves, and we will attack you back. Now, the Brotherhood is not like that. In some ways, they can represent different regimes in history, because they will attack. The Railroad is the same way. They will not give a warning. They will attack. And the Institute indefinitely will attack. The Minutemen are the best faction in the game. But politically, they could not always be the best. I just dodged death right there. Daggone it. But this is one man's opinion. I am curious to know and what you guys will think. What is your values in this game? What do you think is more politically correct in the game? And what factions do you like to play as? What type of character do you build? Do you build a big guy that can run around the Commonwealth with a rocket launcher like I am and blow raiders to smithereens? Or do you like to build the Commonwealth? Or do you like to cause great harm, to just destroy everything at sight? I am curious to know. And with that, leave a comment and a like. If you liked the video, then consider subscribing to the channel. I will continue to make videos somewhat like these. This is a special video in its right because I feel that nobody has done this. And if someone has, will not make any profit off this. This is just my opinions and how this game is correlating towards everything else. But with that being said, I hope you all have enjoyed and somewhat learnt about the game and how Bethesda kind of implements everything. And I also hope that you all have a wonderful day wherever you are and whatever situation you are in. I hope that you all have a great time and that you will always be prosperous. And with that being said, I hope the best. And see you in the next one.